students. Today's topic of discussion is historical development of economics. Why I have started this series? Because all of us should have the basic understanding and the knowledge of economics. It's gonna help you people later in their life. So he has given economic theory has been of two kinds: macroeconomics, determinants of the national income. Okay, so in the larger scale, what we study in the economics is considered as a macroeconomics, and the traditional is the microeconomics, which approaches the economy as if it were made up only of the business firms and household, ignoring. So in this, what will not come? In this microeconomics, what will not come? Government, banks, charities, trade unions, and all other economic institutions, because all this will gonna come under this macro. Okay. So interacting in the two kinds of market, product market and those for productive service or the factor market. So this is the basic intro what the KENEYS try to propose. There is a very detailed studies about the KENEY that we need not to go in that detail. Now move on to the what's a product market and factor market. Households appears as buyers in a product market and as a sellers in a factor market. So if it is a factor market, the same household is gonna appear as the sellers, and if it is a product market, then the same households will appear as the buyers. Okay, so same person, you think for a moment, you at the same person can be a buyers also for some time, and you can also be the sellers for some time. Suppose a grocery owner, once when he is selling some product, then he act as a seller. Same time he is buying a product for his households also. Like if he is selling the vegetables and all, but he is buying the luxury items like TV, refrigerator, or AC, whatever he needs. So at that time he acts as a buyer, but in a factor market he acts as a seller, where they offers human labor than the machines and the land for the sales or the hire. Now the firm appear as a seller in the product market and the buyers in the factor market. So these two are just opposite to each other when the market changes. So when it's become product market, so household will become the buyer, but at the same time the firm will be the sellers. And in the factor market, the household will be the seller, but the firms will be the buyers. Okay, what is this theory of choice? Suppose you are buying a toothpaste, so obviously you will have preference of one toothpaste over the other. And so what's this profit in this term? Defined as the difference between the sales value of its output and the cost of its input. So whatever the cost he has put in developing that product is known as cost of input, and then when he will be selling that thing, if you will take the difference of these two, then it is known as the profit. So what you wanna do? Obviously he has to minimize the expense of developing that product. Obviously you're gonna maximize the revenue in that case. Okay, now each household is endowed with a defined test that can be expressed in a series of utility functions. So suppose you are buying a bread or jam or anything, so you must have seen even in your family the different members have the different sort of test. So when you're going to any of the departmental store or mall, there you're gonna choose one thing, but your other family members will be choosing the same product of different brand on the test. So each household endowed with the definite tests, and that can be expressed in the series of utility function. So household seeks to maximize the satisfaction. So what a buyer will do, what a household will do, he has to maximize his satisfaction with the product, and that they will distribute their given income among available consumer goods, okay, in a way that derives the largest possible utility from a consumption. If we have to buy 10 things, so we'll say which you need the most, okay, so preference will be given to that. So that way only, so consumer goods, they select in a such a way which satisfy households utility to its maximum. Hope all of you have understood it. If you try to put different examples, it will be more interesting. Move on to the theory of allocations. The analysis of behavior of a firm and a household is to some extent symmetrical. Aims to maximize its use of input combinations, while the household attempt to maximize the product combination. Households are the one who is going to use those products. So that way the household will combine the product which maximizes the product combination. Okay, so in given set of things, you're gonna put lot of stuff to satisfy. Now some combinations are better than others, and the best combination is known as optimal or efficient combination. Okay, so optimal utilization of resource, optimal utilization of money, so optimal utilization of the household income that he has. Okay, so he gonna utilize to its maximum by selecting the product. This you can understand by imagining an example when you are going to a departmental store or supermarket with your parents. Then you must have seen when they are choosing, you keep on putting in the basket lot of stuff. At the time of billing, your parents will be removing the items that are not fitting in his combinations. So he gonna use the optimal utilization of that money he has that time. Okay, so this is the theory of allocation. Now coming to this thing, so many times you have heard and seen this supply and demand curve and all, what it is. So this is on the x-axis, we have taken the quantity Q, and in the y-axis we have taken the price of that. So one the graph is coming is of supply, and there is a graph of demand. At the one point these two are meeting. So it is clear. I'm not going deep into the mathematics of this thing, like how the slope varies, what's a negative slope and positive slope and all. We try to, in layman term, we try to understand this demand and supply and how it works. So thing is, not all the demand and supply curves look alike. The essential point, however, is that most demand curves, so where this demand curve, this is the demand curve. So most demand curves are negatively inclined. There is a straight line, but in actual real life practice, it will be negatively inclined. So consumers demand less as the price rises. So if you look to this thing, if the price value is rising, so what is happening? The quantity that you are demanding keeps on decreasing. Price is more, so your quantity that you demand is less. Then price is decreasing, then your demand keeps on increasing. Okay, even less price, so your demand will be more, like this. The most of the demand curves are negatively inclined. What does it emphasize? Consumers demand less as the price rises, or consumer demands more if the price decreases, while the most of the supply curve are positively inclined. So here is the supply curve, so it will be the positively inclined. Okay, like this. So suppliers are likely to produce more at higher price. Okay, suppliers are one who are the manufacturer, who are manufacturing the goods, so are likely to produce more at higher price. So because they will come to know, okay, so more price, so more profit you're gonna get. Okay, because there will be more difference between input that he is putting and the output that he is getting. So there will be more difference between these two things, so profit will be maximizing. So at that time what supplier will do, produce more at the higher price, because he thinks of gaining more from that high price. Hope you have understood it. If you look to this graph carefully and read it again, then it will be more clear to you. Every time when you are analyzing the graph, so try to plot it like this. If you're looking to the price at one point, so same time you try to look at the quantity. If you're changing the value from here, so keep on looking from there. Okay, this is the proper way to analyze the graph. Then microeconomic theory is devoted to showing how the various production and utility functions, coupled with a certain assumptions about the behavior, lead to the demand and supply curve. Okay, what is this law of diminishing marginal utility? So the law of diminishing marginal utility states that all else equal, okay, as consumption increases, the marginal utility derived from each additional unit declines. Suppose you are using your pen or pencil. So you have seen in the market there is a brand having a good variety of pencil, and you have bought it. After using it, then you next thing you will buy it. Gradually what will happen when the new products comes in the market, or even though you'll start thinking of I should use something else, because I have been using this for a long time and I got bored of it. Okay, so this is what this thing about the consumption psychology tells. As the consumption increases, the marginal utility derived from each additional unit declines. So the next when you will be having the same sort of unit, then that utility will keep on decreasing. Okay, now in simple terms, more of an item that you use as or consume, the less satisfaction you get from each additional unit. Got it? So I have given you lots of example. You can also think of the different example in your day-to-day life, and you will come to know what this law of diminishing marginal utility trying to say. If you find any interesting example, you can put that thing into the comment box so that other will also come to know. Okay, utility is an economic term used to represent satisfaction or happiness. Okay, so whatever the satisfaction or happiness you are getting from that product's usability and utility. The marginal utility may decreases to the negative utility sometime, and at that point it's entirely unfavorable to consume another unit of any product, and therefore the first unit of consumption for any product is typically highest, and after that every unit of consumption to follow holds less and the less utility. That's why you have seen that same product, they keep on changing their brand, packaging, name sometime, color of the packaging and all. If you're buying the biscuit or chips or kurkure or anything, you must have seen they keep on changing even the advertisement they do differently every time, because they knew this thing that if you'll be looking to the same packaging, same product time and again, even if inside the item is same, but by looking to it you'll get bored, and sometime you avoid using that product and you move on to some other brand, some other product. That's why they keep on changing their order in look. Sometime they keep on changing their taste and all. Okay, now if you'll focus this thing, you'll come to know how important that thing is for the market, as a consumer also and as a producer also. Now you'll understand how this market, advertising company and all works. So consumers handle the law of diminishing marginal utility by consuming numerous different goods. Now you got it, which keeps the utility for each one high. And as a consumer, we have this psychology. So as a producer, they knew this thing, so they modify their products, their services accordingly. Okay, hope you're understanding and enjoying these concepts. Now come to this comparison chart. In the first slide only we have done, there is a microeconomics and macroeconomics. So you might be hearing this term many times. So look what the basic difference. So in microeconomics, the branch of economics that studies the behavior of an individual consumer, firm, family is known as micro. So it is a keyword individual. Okay. Now in the macroeconomics, the branch of economics that studies the behavior of whole economy altogether. Okay, not as an individual. Both national, international is known as macroeconomics. Macro in a bigger perspective. Then another pointer is microeconomics applied to the operational or internal issues, covers various issues like demand, supply, product pricing, factor pricing, production, consumption, and economic welfare. When we are discussing about the microeconomics, then those things they keep in mind. What will be the effect on the demand, on the supply, how we should put the product pricing, what should be the factor pricing, and how should we do the production, consumption, how it varies, and what about the economic welfare. Okay, now look to the macroeconomics. So in this, environment and the external issue we keep in the mind because it's a larger perspective. So the impact on the environment will be how much and what. So they have to keep these things in mind. Then aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Here was only demand and supply. Here aggregate means average all together, how much demand is there or how much supply is needed in a larger perspective for a country. Next difference is in microeconomics, theory of product pricing comes, theory of factor pricing will come, and theory of economic welfare will come. While in case of macroeconomics, theory of national income will come all together. Then aggregate consumption will come, theory of general price level will come, and economic growth will come. So using this macroeconomics only, the government does the pricing. In the market, in the mixed economy, the government played an important role in deciding the price of the product and all. Okay, in the capital market, it is decided by the market only. Now next difference is this microeconomics helpful in determining the price of the product along with the price of factors of production. Okay, so what are the factors? Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur within the economy. So what are the factors leading to the production of goods and how it varies the prices? Now in macroeconomics, it covers the various issues like national income, general price level, distribution, employment, and the money. These will come under macroeconomics. Maintains the stability in general price level and revolves a major problem of economy like inflation, okay, and deflation, reflation, and unemployment and poverty as a whole. So government will be dealing with these things in the mixed economy. So you might be hearing all these terms in the newspaper and the news. So if you want to have a detailed information about these terms, what are these terms in detail, and on what factor it depends, how it varies, so put the thing into the comment sections, then I will make video regarding these terminologies. Now next difference for microeconomics, so the limitations, we should also look to the limitations also. Is there any limitations of microeconomics? So it is based on unrealistic assumptions. So few assumptions we take while studying the micro perspective of the economics. That is, in microeconomics, it is assumed that there is a full employment. So you can understand how this assumption will error in calculating the microeconomics values, because we are assuming fully employed scenario in the society, which is not at all possible. So this is one of the limitations while analyzing the economics in micro perspective. Now coming to the macroeconomics, it has been analyzed that fallacy of the compositions involves which sometimes doesn't provide true, because it is possible that what is true for aggregate may not be true for individuals too. Okay, hope you have understood these differences, and if you look to it again, it will be helpful.